Welcome, coder. Before we start putting down code, we need to know what code we need. That's where a good plan comes in. By planning first, you will save yourself a lot of time, effort, and headaches. It does delay you getting into the code, but it's well worth it. We start by thinking about all of the elements your user will see and interact with on screen. What text is available? Are there any text boxes or buttons the user can type in or click on? Think about their layout on the page as well. Standard practice is to lay out an application top to bottom and left to right, meaning the user's eyes usually start looking in the upper left of the screen for information and then scans across and then down. This may actually vary by region, so take that into consideration if your region has a different reading style. For our app, we need to show the user how many tasks they have and how many of them have been marked as complete. So we will add a label at the top to display that information. By default, there are no tasks, so we need to show that as well. We also need a way for the user to create a new task, which will require a text box and a button. The text box will have a label that tells the user what we expect them to type into it. Here we will put Enter Task, simple and direct. Next to that, we will have a Create Task button. This will allow the user to enter their text and then click the button to have it show up in the task list that we will be adding soon. There isn't a way to show it on the sketch, though you could write it down on the page to press the Enter key to add the task. By sketching out the app, we already know we will need to have two different ways to perform the same task. We can more easily code for this now that we know what to expect. We will also add a button to allow the user to print their task list. We will add that next to the Create Task button and call it Print Task List. After that, we need a way to display the tasks the user has added so they can interact with them. For this, we will have a grid with two columns, Task and Actions. The Task column will display the text the user entered for the task in the text box. The Actions column will have two buttons, Complete and Delete. These will allow the user to toggle the value for if the task has been completed or not, and the Delete button will allow the user to remove the task from the list completely. It would be a good idea to let the user know that they are about to permanently remove the task, so we'll display a dialog asking them if they actually want to delete the item. So we'll keep that in mind. Once we have the user interface, or UI, laid out, we will need to think about what actions the app will need to take to accomplish its goals, as well as objects to contain any data that is collected from the user. Since we are asking the user to add tasks, we should have a task object to store that information. We will have more than one of these tasks, so each one should be given a unique ID so that they can be selected in code. In this case, we will have a task item that holds information for an ID, a task name, and if the task has been completed or not. This is the only object we need for this application, so we've already accomplished a lot for the planning already. Next, we need to figure out the heart of our application, the code that makes it beat. Think about the actions that the app needs to perform based on the UI you've designed. Based on our design, we know that we will need to be able to add task, delete task, get a list of all the tasks, toggle the complete state of a task, display how many tasks the user has and how many they have completed, and to be able to print the task list. This list of actions defines what the app can do. Next, we need to decide what the app needs to be able to do to accomplish those actions. It will need to get the total task count, get the completed task count. It will need to determine if there is only one task or more than one and return a proper string value based on that. For example, it will show 0 of one task or 1 of 3 tasks. Lastly, the app will need a way to store and update those task items. The reason for having two lists of actions is because they are divided into the public and private actions. The public actions are the ones that the heart needs to allow our page to interact with. The private actions are actions that the heart needs to perform to get the desired results for the public actions. These actions happen without the user knowing about it. One last thing to add to our application that didn't get added into the plan is a checkbox to hide completed tasks. We could add that below the text box. We'll jot that in so we don't forget. Congratulations, you've planned out your first application. It will be difficult at first, but the more you start breaking things down into individual components and actions, you'll be planning like a champ in no time. You can practice this on real objects, like a milk jug for example. It has the jug and a lid. The lid can be either on or off. The jug contains a certain amount of milk, and the milk has an expiration date. So you could create a jug object with an ID, what it contains, how much it can contain, the content's expiration date, and if the lid is on or off. Now you're starting to think like a coder. Thinking in this way will also help inspire you to create other applications. You can and should plan these ideas out, and as you continue learning from this channel, you'll be able to turn those ideas into usable applications. Next, we will be creating the application and going over the files and folders that it comes with by default. See you then, coder.